It's a bit dreich. It's just that kind of lazy, desultory Scottish rain that you get. I'm down on my own. I'm very late because we can't do anything when it's like this. And also, we're getting into October now, so things have stopped growing. We will probably have a final cut, I would imagine, maybe another 2. I'm really just down to check the cameras. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to go in the building, see where it's leaking, mop, and retrieve the memory cards from the cameras. That's all today's job. As I was going to maybe try and clear a wee bit around the house, trim a wee bit, but it's very wet. Proper Scottish borders wet. It's creepy when you're down on your own, it is, without a doubt. We'll also go and have a look at the water to see what that's doing, because it had overflown. The blue barrel was full. The blue barrel does have a hole in the top of it. Let's just go and have a look. Let's just go and have a look. Yeah. Ooh, that's nasty. Yeah, so it's just kind of, it's not proper heavy raining. Look at our handsome sawhorse, look at that. It's not too big, it's just right. Might be a wee bit too big. I'm surprised no one's moved in. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's that filling up from the IBC tanks, and you can hear that it's filling up a lot more vigorously than it was out of the blue barrel in the wheelie bin. Same with the other one. This is the kind of content that you come here for. Bog watch. The building seems entirely, well, this part of the building anyway, the main part of the building seems entirely unmolested. Hang on a wee second. There we go. Entirely unmolested. So I don't think there'll be any people on the cameras. There might be some wildlife. I bought some new memory cards as well, so we'll get the other or third wildlife camera put up somewhere if I can be arsed in this rain, because it is, you know, it's really warm outside. It's also just really wet, so one of those weird Scottish days. It's about, I'd say about 17 degrees maybe. So memory card 1, let's see what this has got on it, if anything. Right, okay, so what's the date? I think today's the, what is the date? It's the 1080p of the 50. No, that's not what that is. So the 17th would have just been us. A rabbit. Also, that camera is mostly wall, which isn't really, that's not really positioned very wisely. And a very handsome sawhorse. There is a rabbit in that picture, so let's skip forward. Absolutely nothing. I think it was the shadow of a tree. Oh no, there's another rabbit. And obviously it'll be dark. That's a moth. Maybe a bat. It's really exciting, I think you'll agree. Let's move on. Not a sausage. There is nothing to see. Just rabbits. 2 rabbits. I'm really not going to do anything else down here because it's raining and it's late anyway. I'm just going to put these memory cards back and have a wee walk round, flush the toilets again, because why not? And then we will swap back to up the road, because there's things we've been doing there that are, I was going to say that are quite interesting, but that might not be true. Anyway, see you in a minute. It's the same day. We're up the road though, or we're at the HQ. You'll remember we sold our tractor. Silhouette there. We sold our tractor. Tractor's away. The guy came and got it last weekend, and what he left was some money and this. This. which is the smallest ride-on mower. It does work though, as opposed to that, which doesn't work. I don't know if you can see that, just see the detail of the level at which things have been taken apart. That's the transaxle then on the ground there. See this? That should be in there. But it's not, it's still in there because it's rusted on. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm just going to, because I've got some bits, I want to see if I can get the engine running on this before I do any more. And I'm thinking about that because if I get that engine running, that's probably going to fall over. I really thought this through. Anyway, listen, I'm not going to film this. I'll check in with you in a moment. The other thing that I did was, you'll see that this, this is George's new company car. George is the ginger fellow with the, yeah, anyway, this is his company car. And what I did was, this is a Honda GCV 165.5 horsepower engine. And I bought all the spare parts for that, but I meant to buy it for that, which is a Briggs & Stratton 11 horsepower engine. So I've got loads of spares for this that we didn't need, because when I was ordering it, I had it in mind that it was for this, when in actual fact it was for that. So that means I'm an arse. However, the spares for that have arrived, and I hope they fit, because that's a 1980s lawnmower, and it's just difficult to get stuff. Everything is rusted onto it. It's been the most frustrating thing. Leave it with me, I'll be back. So I didn't film any of that, and I also didn't film myself getting a bit of an electric shock, which is just natural when you're messing around with engines and spark plugs and magnetos. I don't know whenever, I mean I don't do it often, but I don't think I've ever been doing that and not got a belt off it. It's got rubber all around where the connector goes onto the plug, but honestly it just goes straight through that. You get a lovely wee belt. So we never got that wheel off that axle. We ground, we hammered, we actually, it was quite difficult to get that cog, that I had to like really hit that quite hard with a hammer to get it on there, because when we were hammering on the end of the, what's the goo on my arm, when we were hammering on the end of the axle, we mushroomed it. So I had to grind it down, and unfortunately I ground the splines down as well. Not good. So anyway, it's on now, it's never coming off again. It's never coming off. So I'm going to get this back into here, and basically that wheel's just going to stay on. I've actually put an inner tube in there, so it's okay. I'm going to get an inner tube in the other tyre, which is over there, and just going to put this back together as a single unit. And if it ever needs to come off, that wheel actually just came off. That was the wheel that didn't have the rubber cap on to protect the where it goes onto the axle. That one just came off. This one did have the rubber cap on, and it's like one piece of metal now. I'm going to get this back together. This is the transaxle, by the way, so I've no idea how it works. I'm not even going to try and explain it to you. Brrr, brrr, brake. That's all I can say about it. What do you think? In the comments below, will this run again? Will all this run again? Bear in mind I got spark out of the engine. Will it run though? Right, I'm going to get this back together. I'm not going to video it because it's boring. That was a massive pain in the arse. It's back together, I think. Initially I'd put it back together, but I'd not lined up there's like a pin that goes into the slider that changes the gears, and I hadn't lined that up properly. And obviously every time I took it apart, the wee ball bearing that gives the gear change the click just kept flying off. Hoping that if I put it back on, all the gears seem to be working. It was a pain though. So I'm back down here and I'm looking at this. I've actually got the back end back together. There was a lot of cursing going on when that happened, but it's back on. That back wheel needs an inner tube put in it, or it needs a new tag to be fair, but I'm just going to put an inner tube in it. But before I do that, I'm going to see if I can get the engine going. We know it's sparking. I don't know if it's getting fuel. I may need to strip down the carburetor, maybe. Next move is to disconnect the carb, which I've done. It's dangling off here, and I'm just going to scoosh directly into the cylinder head with the easy start. It should. If that doesn't work, then it's not. I wouldn't have thought that it was sparking. This could be. I've also got the exhaust stuff, so this might explode. Should be fun. I don't think it's sparking. So I think we've got a really ropey earth connection here. I think maybe it just needs cleaned. I don't really know, but there was no spark. It couldn't really be anything else, really. Checked all the connections, even reinstalled the old key switch just in case maybe the new one's wired differently. The old one works. I just thought I'd be smart, but obviously not that smart. It is sparking now. I've put the plug back in, and I'm going to see if I scoosh some, see what happens. The turning over has flattened the battery, but I was using my jump start thing, but it's also flat, so it's going to have to. I've got no juice. I'm going to leave this for now. The battery's charging. It's Wednesday. I've got like a day maybe to edit something to put out this week, so I'm going to do that, and we're going to return to this. It is sparking. There's no reason why it shouldn't start, but now that I've said that, it'll find a reason to not start. So until next time, I'm out.